Commissioners, and on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, to our remote viewers watching the meeting via our live stream video broadcast, welcome to the October 25th special board meeting. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, this special meeting is called to discuss personnel-related matters under Section 2C1, purchase, sale, lease of real estate property under Section 2C5 and 6, pending probable and imminent litigation under Section 2C11, settlement of claims under Section 2C12, and audit review under C29. Also in accordance with the Open Meetings Act requirements, the CHA board rules, the guidelines to hold special meetings were followed. Advance notification of this meeting was sent via post, mail, and or electronic mail to board members and resident leadership. The notice was also posted on the CHA website and on our social media channels. The board secretary will now call the roll to establish a quorum.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Commissioner Brewer,
Here.
Commissioner Cruzy,
Here.
Commissioner Gutierrez,
Here.
Commissioner Harris,
Here.
Commissioner Malone,
Here.
Commissioner Matanke, Commissioner Parker, Commissioner Washington,
Here.
Commissioner Herlock.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. I will now present a motion to approve the order of agenda, which is as follows. Centering thoughts from Commissioner Dr. Mildred Harris, followed by public testimony on general matters only. After public testimony on general matters, we will have a presentation by the staff on the matters listed for board consideration. Registered speakers will be given an opportunity to comment on items number 1 and 2, followed by the vote of board items. Commissioners will then meet for 90 minutes in closed session to discuss matters in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. At the conclusion of the closed meeting, the special board meeting will adjourn. Commissioners, may I have a second to approve the order of today's meeting agenda?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed votes, abstentions, or recusals? Hearing none, the motion to proceed with the order of today's meeting agenda is approved. We'll now have centering thoughts by Commissioner Dr. Mildred Harris.
Good morning, and thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning to all the commissioners and to our guests who are with us today. Well, first, I'd like to say for my centering thought, there are some interesting quotes that some special people have given for us to hear. And first, I'd like to start off with this quote given by Sophocles. And he said, "Without labor, nothing prospers." Eleanor Roosevelt said, "So do one thing every day that challenges you." And Franklin Roosevelt said, "When you reach the end of your rope, tie the knot and hang on it." Now, I like to say that here at CHA, our mission statement is to create and sustain strong communities where seniors strive and everyone can unlock their economic power. Well, let me share this with you. You know what Will Rogers said? He said the quickest way to double your paper money is to fold it over and put it back in your pocket. So that's what we have to do for economic power, okay? So, and then someone else said this, I thought it was so funny. Her name is Reba McIntyre, and she said, to succeed in life, you need 3 things: a wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone. And so I just want to say to you that today, let's begin by folding over that money and put it in our pockets, and let us move it, move it, move it, do it, do it, do it, and we can have it, have it, have it. We can have, all of us can have that economic power. Come on, let's give ourselves a hand. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We always get something special and innovative from Dr. Harris. Knowing the importance of your attendance at the board meetings, board members look forward to listening to the concerns and to give full consideration to your input. This is a message for the residents and speakers today. Depending on the questions you ask, we may refer your questions directly to the CEO, who may be able to provide us with an immediate response, or we may direct you to staff so your concern is promptly addressed, or we may need to contact you after the meeting to get more information, but be assured that your concerns will be addressed before the next scheduled meeting. To ensure that registered speakers get an opportunity to address the board, we will enforce the 2-minute time limit. Additionally, speakers must appear individually and are not allowed to cede their time to another person. When called upon, please come to the podium. All comments must be addressed to me and not to individual members of the board or CHA staff. Disruptive behavior that impedes conducting board business is prohibited. Disruptive behavior includes but is not limited to personal attacks, abusive, threatening, or intemperate language, and refusal to abide by the time limitations set forth in public participation rules. If the board is unable to conduct business due to serious and/or continued disruption from the public, I will recess or adjourn the meeting to allow removal of individuals for egregious breach of order. Disruptive behavior not only affects conducting board business, it also prevents registered speakers from safely communicating or getting their concerns addressed. Today, we have a total of 4 registered speakers who will comment on general CHA matters. The following is the order in which the speakers will be called. We have Jerry Galvin, Robert Davidson, Juanita Stevenson, and Tony Stevenson. Responses to comments presented during public participation will be posted on the CHA's website. If you have written materials for the board, please give them to the board secretary. And after the board member, the meeting, the board secretary will distribute the materials to the entire board. Our first registered speaker is Jerry Galvin. I see many people sitting on one side. Is that speaker here?
Madam Chair, good morning. We had an issue downstairs. The public was stuck in our client center. It's
Okay.
being rectified, so members should be here momentarily.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. With that being said, are we able to continue on? Are we able to continue on? And then when they come up, we'll then resume. All right. So we have 2 items for the board's consideration today on today's agenda. In absence of Mike Moran, the Chief Financial Officer, item number 1 is the approval of amended and restated investment and cash management policy. Will be presented by Shiwei Zhao, our treasurer. Shiwei?
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, CHA and Wings Management Team. So I'm Shiwei Zhou, the Treasurer. Thanks for having me today. The item before you is to seek the board authorization for the amended and restated Treasury investment and cash management policy, which was last updated in September and also presented at the September 12th board meeting. After the September board meeting, the Board of Commissioners Audit and Finance Committee requested an update to add Investment and Cash Management Committee and Chair of a Board of Commissioner Audit and the Finance Committee authorization for the usage of lines of credit prior to draws. So the policy has been further updated to reflect this change and the requirement, and thus here for your approval. So now I'm open to any questions if you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiwei. Were there questions by the Board of Commissioners? None? All right. Easy enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you
We'll
very
move
much.
right on to item number. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Washington does have a question.
Sure.
I wrote it down. I can't find. I'm looking too hard. And the treasurer alone will have the sole discretion to leverage funds.
Sorry,
The treasurer alone had the sole discretion to leverage funds.
with the, sorry, I make,
The
Now-
question was,
treasurer-
does the treasurer solely have the ability to leverage funding? Funds.
no, treasurer would has the ability to assess the business situation to determine whether the line of credit can be drawn. And then from there, I would need to, according to this amended and restated policy, I would need to obtain the authorization from the Treasury Investment and Cash Management Committee, which consists of the other 3 members, CEO, CFO, and the General Counsel, as well as the Chair of the Finance Audit Committee's final approval before the draw.
Oh, okay, so the cash flow and lending money over here and over there, will we continue to lend money to people who have not paid us back? we have monies out there and before we getting paid and we're not getting paid. Different individuals and different companies. We're talking about cash flow, returns, and dividends. So when we start collecting what's owed us before we start giving out.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sis.
Madam Chair and Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Washington, I just want to make sure this policy is regarding the Treasury operations and policies that they're governed by. The loans that CHA provides to our partners as well as part of participating in real estate deals are separate from this policy. They wouldn't be relevant to this policy. And so I certainly can take your question back to the CFO, who is responsible for monitoring all of our loans.
But when the dollars come in, they start paying back, that's added to the cash flow.
Yes, they would be, and they would be reported in our financial reports. But the CFO is responsible for collections as well as monitoring those loans and making sure that they're compliant.
Okay. Well, I would like to see some collection papers. We collected anything anywhere from anyone. That's part of cash flow.
I would just point out, just as information, most of our loans are aligned with both the tax credit as well as the ground lease. And so we have the majority of our loans are long-term loans. And then we have a few that require repayment prior to the end of that tax credit period.
Some of them credit is over. Time is up.
Have any additional questions?
Yes, because I know some of their time is up. They should have been paying us back. Maybe get something done.
Thank you, Commissioner Washington. Were there any other questions for Shiwei? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll move on to item number 2, which is the authorization to enter into agreements for professional property management services. Eric Garrett, our Chief Operating Officer, will not be presenting this. I see Leonard Langley, who will come up and present along with Teresa. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Commissioners, good morning. This recommendation is to enter into agreements for professional property management services for the below-listed contractors, Wind Managed Properties, LLC, and 5T Management in the aggregate contract value of $10,029,184, consisting of an aggregate original contract value of $4,830,432 for a 2-year base term from November 1st, 2024 through October 31st, 2026. We've included 2 option years in the combined amount of $5,198,752 to provide professional property management services at various properties. On September 6th, CHA received notices terminating property management services at 16 properties totaling 3,400 units in multiple programs. The termination of property management services, along with the short transition period allowed, created an urgent need for CHA to secure replacement property management services. CHA used the exigency procurement approach to directly engage numerous property management businesses in compliance with the appropriate HUD rules. Prospective companies were asked to submit a letter of intent outlining their qualifications to handle the day-to-day property management. In response, 2 firms sent a letter of intent outlining their proposed management charge and method of property management. And of course, those 2 properties were Wind Managed Properties, LLC, and 5T Management. There were other companies that we had an opportunity to engage, and because of the short timeline and the overall scope and number of buildings, they were unable to engage with us at this time.
So historically, when CHA has been in a position to, in a sudden fashion, replace management companies, the practice had been to tap existing firms to absorb some of those portfolios. So related to discussions we had at the top of the year just around doing things a little bit differently, evidenced by our engagement directly with the site staff and the properties, as well as feedback from residents, we decided to take this in a different way and accomplish two key goals, among others, was to bring in new and smaller companies into the pool to diversify our pool all around. And so it was refreshing when we brought this conversation to resident leadership to find that their ideas were aligned as well. They echoed that sentiment that parsing out this portfolio to existing firms was not the best idea. And so to that point, we began to move forward. And what we'll do around resident engagement going forward is a series of resident meetings that starts with a meeting with resident leadership and the principals, senior executive teams from both WIN and 5T, and then a series of individual building meetings for all 16 buildings that are impacted between November 1st and November 15th. Depending on the outcome of today's session, we'll have letters to go out to residents so that they hear firsthand of these changes before things hit the ground and before these changes take place ahead of the resident meetings that are to come.
And we do have representatives from WIN and 5T here to answer questions as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. Questions, commissioners?
Where they at?
Let's-
Who would you
Call them up.
Let's have WIN companies come up first, please. I believe their president is here, Mr. Appleby.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you share a little bit about your company?
Sure, yeah. Want to start by thanking the CHA staff and the Board of Commissioners for having us here today. My name is Patrick Appleby, and I am the Director of Housing. Right now, our portfolio consists of 115,000 units. We are active in 26 different states, to include Alaska, Hawaii, DC, California, and Puerto Rico. Our company is broken into 3 divisions. The first is the WIN Development Group, and that group has developed over 140 affordable housing communities, which we still own. We have WIN Residential Military Housing Services, which manages about 32,000 units of privatized military housing. And then we have WIN Residential, who's before you today. We manage about 700 properties, the majority of which are affordable. We have over 4,400 team members working for us. And while we're a national company, we do manage locally. So we'll be hiring all of the existing site staff at the properties we're being considered for. We'll be bringing on at least 6 of the corporate team members from the incumbent manager. I think that one of the benefits that comes with a company of our size is our operating and support platform. So we have over 500 corporate employees that are dedicated to supporting the sites and providing our back office functions. We have a full service HR group that has benefits management, compensation management, employee relations. We have an in-house recruiting team of 15 people that fill about half of the open jobs we have, ensuring that we get the highest quality workers at our sites. We have accounting and cash management. We have a marketing team. We have an in-house communications team. We have a corporate facility support team that has over 30 people dispersed throughout the country. And we have a corporate compliance team that has more than 50 people supporting our affordable housing. Again, the focus of the company since its inception has really been affordable housing, both in what we develop and what we manage. And we manage for a variety of different partner clients, from housing authorities such as CHA, nonprofits, resident-owned cooperatives, and CDCs throughout the country. And we're really excited about this opportunity, and it has been a whirlwind over the last 3 or 4 weeks. And Doctor, I can tell you we're ready to tie the knot at the end of that rope and to hang on and get things moving forward. We really think that this is a great opportunity. Anytime we form a new partnership, we know it's a great opportunity for us to grow and learn. And I want to thank CHA staff, who's been so responsive in helping us build up to this. We're looking forward to being considered for this opportunity to work alongside 5T as we look at focusing on the residents of the Chicago Housing Authority properties. And I have some of my leadership team here today, so as you have questions, I can call upon some of those people.
Questions, Commissioner Parker?
Welcome to the city. So thank you for being here. But my first question, Vinny, is have you ever you talk about affordable housing, but I'm more concerned about low-income housing. These is low-income properties and they're not affordable.
We have, again, the history of the company started off way back with, Section 8 housing, substantial rehabs, tax credit, workforce, bond finance. We have a deep understanding of affordable housing, and, again, that's the majority of our portfolio.
And did I hear you say I know you're not locally based, did I hear you say you're going to open up offices here in Chicago?
No, we're going to hire, so we're hiring locally. We've been managing in Chicago for about 5 years now. We've had affordable properties here, and we'll be hiring all of the local staff. We'll also be hiring a new executive who will be based in Chicago, for Chicago, and somebody that has a commitment to affordable housing.
Right, when you say base, so you're going to you got an office here?
I don't know that we'll have a specific office for that person, but that person will be based in Chicago.
So you mean they'll be taking calls out of hotels, out of their
No,
apartment?
they'll be living here and maybe working at one of the properties. I don't know that we have enough here to open an office yet.
Right, because we got 3,000 units, you might be filled with calls. You're using the existing staff of the former, right? And so if the residents want to complain up, right, who would they go to? And how fast could we get a response by upper management? Because
So
you're inheriting people you don't even know, so.
That's right. And I
Okay.
think that, again, this has been a very fast onboarding and moving forward with it. So we'll assess the staff that we have and what the needs are. We do have a communication escalation for resident concerns. We have a dedicated phone line and email for the corporate office, but those calls will all get directed to the local teams here, the local executive teams, regional manager, local VP, local support teams.
And last but not least, I'm wanting you to talk a little bit about your diversity as well as your knowledge about Section 3, because we're looking to see Section 3 hires, which
Sure.
probably wasn't a part of the other firm.
Yeah. I'm going to bring up Trevor Samios and Terry Benskin. Terry's our Chief Operating Officer. Trevor is our SVP, who is oversees a lot of our operations, also our connected communities.
Hi, good morning. I wanted to speak first to your question on Section 3. So just to make very clear for everyone, we are very fully committed to working with the CHA's procurement team to finalize Section 3 goals. And we started that process just last week with the CHA for clear Section 3 goals and meeting those targets and hopefully exceeding those targets across all of the 11 properties we'll be taking on. It has been moving quickly, as Patrick said, but over the past 2 years, just for context, our company has exceeded target recruitment and employment in Section 3 programs by an average of 10% in cities across the states of Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, and Rhode Island. We have a long history of successful Section 3 recruiting, working with partners from business groups to resident councils to sponsor informational meetings, support and advertise opportunities in a variety of different ways and technologies, as well as working in partnership with our management team, our human services team, our real estate development team, and our partners in public housing authorities to exceed those goals. We hope to finalize those Section 3 goals with the CHA over the coming weeks and work with your team to create new investments that support resident employment. Internally, we also offer resident scholarship opportunities for all residents and communities we manage. We have a facilities and property management paid internship program, a year-long program. We've hired 100% of graduates into our organization over the past 5 years from that program. We offer a variety of internship opportunities, and we've helped support, from a resident base this past year, 2,700 residents to find stable employment, and we've supported 8,100 households and their families to connect with employment resources, job training, and employment coaching.
So I'm almost done. In terms of coaching, I just wanted to know, you know how big your portfolio in Chicago is. Could you tell me how big your hiring of residents will be in Chicago? Just a bottom line number. It could be 1, it could be 50. Do you got an idea of how many residents you plan on bringing on board while you're here in this city?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I wish I had an exact number for you. The Section 3 rules have, how, as they've evolved in target percentages over the past couple of years, we look forward to working with the CHA's compliance team, Section 3 team, in establishing those very specific goals by property.
Right, because I'm sorry, this said, I'm sorry.
No, no.
Thing. You got a 90-day probation, and so we will have a look back. This was, like you said, thank you guys for coming in the way you did in a timely manner that we needed you. But I'm gonna be on y'all about Section 3, making sure, not you think, I wanna know. I need real hard numbers.
No,
Thanks for taking my questions.
and I can guarantee you will have a hard number and that we hope to exceed very shortly.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Commissioner Washington?
Question. Numbers you just spit out that y'all hired, was that through company hiring, or was it through programs that y'all have for the residents?
Programs.
Okay.
Yeah.
The difference between the program hire and the company hire.
So in the
Exactly.
past 2 years, those 8 programs I mentioned, the Section 3 programs, we hired 189 individuals from those. They were smaller property Section 3 programs in partnership with housing authorities. But I imagine our goal here, if we angle at a 30%, hiring rate through that program, because that's the target that's established, we've exceeded that by 10% on average of every Section 3 program we've ever come across. So we hope to do the same here.
We have to. I just want to say, even though 5T is not up here yet, no matter what you have done, no matter what you think you have done in life for both agencies, you have not did anything or worked until you work for the Chicago Housing Authority. And your task is to survive. I'm serious. I welcome you all, our breath of fresh air. The resident leadership got tired of just recycling the old firms over and over again. They're not that bad as some of the people they keep. You all are coming here, you all are keeping the staff. Some of y'all staff, but evaluating for yourself. Some of your staff must go. The management, managers, the janitors, the research clerks, or what have you. So evaluate them carefully. If you're gonna hire somebody in the city because you're gonna need someone here, don't just hire somebody because they work for CHA, they did this or that. You got resident leadership, they know just about everybody in the city. They can tell you where they're good or bad. You hire somebody, they might have been good over here. When it comes to taking care of residents, they sucked. So be careful who you hire.
We aim to survive.
And I hope you can survive, but you don't know what you're walking into. But if you're good as you say you are, or you think you are, you should make it work, because you're going to find some problems. A lot of problems you're going to inherit. And I wish you didn't have to, but until we at the CHA get our stuff together in our legal department, you have a lot of problems. You have a lot of problems. But monitor your janitorial staff, your management staff very closely. If you got too many folks that do not have been recertified right, their recertification don't have at least yet, people need to go. That's not only your problem, that's the residents' problem. But when the residents hurt, we all feel the pain. At least I know I do. So we'll see. I'll see you in 6 months.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Washington. We also have Commissioner Harris, who has a question.
Yes, my question is, I noticed that you've worked with the El Paso Housing Authority. Could you tell me how well you've worked with them and what you've been able to accomplish?
So Terry and I were just in El Paso a couple weeks ago, and their board voted to extend us for another 5 years. It's been a very good partnership with them, and they've split up their management as well. I think we have about 4,000 properties with them. They've gone, they were really leading the way on the RAD conversions, and we found that Mr. Shashan, who's the head there, is sort of a very proactive and involved partner with us. And I think we've done a great job there. When we took over, they were behind on a lot of the recertifications and the vouchering. So we spent a lot of time cleaning that up going, and it's been a really strong relationship for us. Just like what we're doing here, we hired some of our corporate support team to work based out of El Paso. So we have people on the ground there, as well as, the regional supervision for there. But we've really enjoyed that partnership. And they're bringing on new units all the time as well. Yeah.
I had another question too. I wanted to ask, now you've done a lot with private housing. I wanted to ask, will you be able to really manage all the CHA portfolios?
So, we have a long track record of experience, and We haven't shied away from difficult properties or challenging situations. I think a lot of the affordable programs get a little more complicated each year. And, we operate in a lot of the big cities where there's a challenging portfolio. And so as our large fee management portfolio, we're not often called in and have somebody say, hey, these properties are running great, why don't you take them over? It's, we have some challenges, whether it's occupancy, collection, resident services, security concerns. So, we're well versed on coming in and taking over properties that need some extra attention. As I mentioned earlier, this has been a really expedited timeframe. We would normally have a little bit more of a runway getting into it, but we're excited about this opportunity.
I have a question. I think part of what you're hearing is that obviously the portfolio here is unique in character, and you obviously have lots of experience with public housing. But what's your most comparable property that you have that would be comparable to what you understand ours to be?
You think I want to talk about that, or maybe the DC area too is a challenge?
Sorry, I'm not that tall. So comparable to Chicago Housing Authority housing, it would probably be the El Paso portfolio as a whole. It is over 40 properties, and it is 100% housing. When we first came into El Paso, we had not been there prior. So that was also coming into a city we did not know, we were not familiar with, but the point was we were 100% dedicated to being there, to being a part of it, and to learning from it. While we've been around for 53 years, I recognize that we do have a depth of knowledge, but at the same time, we're open to constantly partnering and learning. And I think that's what's helped us throughout all these situations. As Patrick had alluded to, the El Paso housing, not only were they behind on research, but they were 24 million behind in subsidies because they've been put on hold for HUD. We, working with HUD, with THDCA, we managed to maneuver that and maneuver through those relationships and actually catch them up to where now they're whole on all their sites. That was significant for them to go through that process, that their subsidies were held up.
That's helpful, and I think the last part of what you said is important because I do think obviously El Paso is not Chicago, so there will be some critical differences.
And we recognize that, and to your point earlier, yes, we are hiring the on-site staff. I think the reason we did that, as mentioned, this was a whirlwind. This is not traditionally how we go about this. I mean, there's a period where we interview folks, we meet with everyone, but we just right now are very focused on keeping the staff, getting everyone started on 11/1, trying to prevent as minimal as hiccups, as you could call it, just to get us past that line. Once we're past 11/1, we'll go through the traditional 90 days. We'll have the onboarding, we'll have the training, we'll meet more individually with all the team members, with our new leadership. And when I say new leadership, I'll say Chicago leadership. So yes, it's been turbulent, but we've done everything we can to ensure stability through this process.
I know.
Commissioner Parker?
And so, like you said, about the whirlwind.
Yeah.
So even though you came on an inherited staff, me myself still didn't want you to get comfortable with that staff that you inherited. So whatever things you would normally do, I think you should still continue to outreach and look for team members because
Absolutely.
who knows if these members work out. And I want to piggyback on, I asked about diversity because I did look at your portfolio.
Yeah.
And it was, you know what I mean? And so I'm just trying to figure out
No, that's fair. That's fair.
how do you diversify
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
what's your diversity goals in terms of, 'cause
So-
you're gonna get, most people here they're gonna be minorities, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out
No, that's
53 years,
that's fair. That's fair.
no minorities on your team in terms of high level. And so
You're looking at one though. That's the thing.
I thought I heard an accent. Okay.
No. It's not it's a Southern accent, but it's a Vietnamese. So
Okay.
yes, I'm part of that group, and I'm the chief operating officer. So I do believe there's a commitment from WIN. 4,400 employees, that reflect the rich diversity of the communities that we manage. 52% of our leaders, 52% of that, sorry, I get nervous when I talk in front of groups, so I'm going to go ahead and just fess that up right
Me
now. So 52% of leadership positions, and then 59 of all positions are people of color in our company. So we have, as Patrick had alluded to earlier, we always strive for that, changing it. And fundamentally, our fundamental belief is a diverse team in people, opinions, ideas, and approaches is what has and will keep our organization and our commitment to the individuals and families who call these communities home successful. So yes, we have a DEI committee. We're very focused on it, continually doing employee surveys, continually solicited thoughts. And then, Trevor, I don't know if you want to add to the initiatives that we have, but yes, it's always at a forefront for our CEO and our board.
So when I say diversity, I'm talking about women too. What's that
I'm a-
number? I know you're a girl.
I'd say women's probably 70%. It's significant. It is significant. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner, we have Commissioner Harris.
Okay.
And then
Yes,
Commissioner Washington.
in the reading, I noticed that I wanted to applaud you in your apprenticeship program.
Yeah.
But I just noticed that the company is 90% Caucasian and 10% NA. What does NA mean?
I'm not sure where the 90% Caucasian came in. More than half of our employees are minority, and more than
The
half
I
board.
of
believe
our-
she's speaking about the board.
Oh, about the board. Oh, okay.
Board, yeah. NA, what does the NA mean?
That's probably me.
It might be, yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, originally I'd say the board, and it's a legacy. I mean, it's family owned, so it's a small we're not public, we're private. So there are individuals that it's part of the legacy, but they have made an asserted effort between myself being on the board, Lynn on the board, Susan. So yes, there's been a push for change.
And I believe Commissioner Washington has a question.
No, half these questions also go to 5T, but welcome. I know you all think y'all bring y'all A game. That ain't good enough. We need your S game for superior.
Were there other?
Just a quick comment. Thank you for being here again. I love your presentation. I think one of the things that I want to hear more about when we meet again is really your customer service and how the people who live in our properties are able to communicate, both good and bad, how they're interacting with your company. So not for today, but I think next time we see each other, I'd love to hear more about how your customer service is going. Thank you.
Any other questions?
One more question. At the end of the 90 days, I can give you an accurate way how to eliminate staff. Go straight to the source, to the people in which they serve. Not everybody's bad. Some of them's really, really good, and some of them just taking up space.
Thank you. We'll now have 5T come up.
You're going to have to ask them some different questions.
Right, because they rehearsed.
You're too friendly with each other there. I don't know about that.
Thank you so much. If you could tell us a little bit about yourselves and your organization.
Absolutely. Good morning, Chairperson Herlock, Board Commissioners, CHA team, residents, and we want to thank the WIN management team for tackling and blocking for us. I'm Deanna Thomas. I'm the president of 5T Management, and this is Steve Thomas, my husband and partner. He is in charge of development and acquisitions. When we hired a director of operations, he said that I fired him from his position. We're honored to be here today and discuss this partnership. We are here to discuss managing 5 of the senior properties in this portfolio. At 5T Management, our mission is to provide affordable apartment homes that residents are proud to call home. We manage about 41 properties in Chicago. That's about 2,000 units, including properties that we own ourselves, as well as properties that we third-party manage. Our guiding principles are rooted in community vibrancy, quality housing, and really fostering environments where not only our team members can thrive, but our residents as well. When we think about partnerships, we have a couple of boxes that we check, and those are how well do our owners care about their residents, and if we have alignment with our purpose and mission. We can check those two boxes with the CHA today. I am a lifelong resident of Chicago. And after graduate school, I came back to Chicago and worked at Mount Sinai Hospital as the director of community affairs. And I oversaw about 13 federally qualified health centers back then. And back then, it was a lot about Medicaid funding. So I did a lot of lobbying in Springfield. And I'm also a second generation entrepreneur. When I grew up in Chicago, our family restaurant, Kenny's Ribs and Chicken, had about 41 restaurants in Chicago, Indiana, and Michigan. Steve married into that. And I call myself a cause kind of girl. I went from affordable health care to affordable housing. And Steve is going to step in and tell you a little bit about how we came to be as 5T.
Good morning, everyone. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., Langston Terrace product, and again, relocated here when I met my wife. Howard University graduate. Again, I married into the business where I got to understand Chicago. As we had stores located throughout Chicago, I understood and learned the West Side, I learned the South Side, and so again, I've got a very good understanding of the different areas of Chicago and just the different mannerisms and temperaments that each of the neighborhoods have. Initially, in the restaurant business, we hired a lot of people that were in public housing. And so again, our foray into housing happened because one day, again, one of our employees called and said, hey, going to have an issue getting to work today. And I said, you know, what's the issue? And they held the phone up and it was gunfire. And they said, we're having a battle, we can't get out. At that point, my wife and I just decided that we needed to figure out how to remove that impediment from their life. Because again, if we were going to grow as restaurants, if they were going to grow their family, we needed to remove those impediments so that we could get a better employee, they would have a better household, and it would be a win-win situation. We actually we purchased one building, one turned into two, two turned into three. At some point, we just transitioned totally out of restaurants, Deanna and I, and went fully into affordable housing on the south side of Chicago. We work closely with CII and the Troubled Buildings Initiative here in the city. So again, we were always called in for troubled buildings to help to stabilize them and turn them around. In 2008, I would say an assignment to kind of put us on the map was there was a scattered site portfolio, 155 units on the south side of Chicago. The Preservation Compact, which we are now members of, came to us and asked us would we help to stabilize and manage that portfolio. Very important because that was the first time ever in the country that a HAP contract was allowed to be passed to a receiver. Again, they had special language written into a bill that passed in Washington, D.C. CII was the receiver. We managed those three properties for 2.5 years, went through foreclosure, ended up purchasing two of them, and we were the first for-profit to win the CNDA award here in Chicago, Polk Brothers Foundation. From there, again, we just kept our heads down and continued to do work, purchasing properties, rehabbing them, and again, doing TBI work within the city of Chicago, and then also taking assignments from HUD on both west sides and the south side of Chicago. So again, I call ourselves more of a boutique management company. We're concerned about the residents. We really take pride in the owners that we partner with, because again, we don't want our name on something that is not indicative of who we are and what we do. We were offered actually more units to manage from CHA, and we respectfully just said that, hey, I think that we need to start with this number. So again, the alignment of our mission statement and the goals of CHA, we can make sure that we could follow through and, and do that. And so I will then now turn over to my wife to talk more about DEI, which it's kind of a weird thing, when you have to prove that you're Black and you got to prove that you're doing the things that we've done for the past 25 years in Chicago. So
I also want to say that we get called upon, tapped on the shoulder and say, hey, can you stabilize this property? I want to remind everyone that this is an interesting time of year for us. Last year about this time, we took over as the property manager for the Heartland portfolio. That is 862 units. And we had a little longer runway. That call we got in August, but we were able to transition that property, and we are stabilizing that property as they are being sold to owners. As Steve said, we are deeply committed to our communities, and to us that means hiring from our diverse neighborhoods. We really believe in providing opportunities for residents and our team members to really thrive in what they want to do. We were excited to know, and we're still learning about the Section 3 program. We're still learning about the numbers and things like that, but we've had internships before. And so knowing that we have a pipeline is exciting for us. This industry, as we all know in property management, the labor situation, not just in property management, but across the board, is challenging. Finding quality people is challenging. It's our goal to develop that pipeline of professional property management people. And so when I heard about the fact that CHA is in support of internships, we were super duper excited. And so we don't have our percentages yet, so I'll just tell you that. But give us a moment to really dig in and understand a lot of the programs and the requirements and things like that. But I will say that this is a good alignment for us. I hear that we have to go into it thinking how we're going to survive, but we want to look at it as not just surviving, but really thriving. And we are looking forward to tapping into the resident councils and the people who have been around for longer than we have. We understand that for the purpose of stabilizing the communities, it's important to keep keep the team members just for that continuity, but we also are starting day one. All the people who are on the current team are getting we're calling it a get to know you profile, because we want to understand who they are. We want to understand their skill set, and we want to make sure that they align with our mission, because we're very big on our reputation. We have not grown through any marketing. We've grown because people respect what we do. And so we realize that our team members represent our brand. So we want to make sure that they will do that. So we're starting off with those, like I said, get to know you profiles. And we will be tapping into the resident leadership to give us that input. With that, any questions?
We'd like to open up the questions, commissioners.
Like I said, thank you for being in Chicago, but you have not worked here, worked for CHA. When both companies, when y'all go to the buildings, just walk the buildings down, look at them, you can tell what the person's doing. They'll probably be nice now because folks know you're coming. After that, take another week or two, walk the buildings down. And if we should get rid of someone should get rid of someone. If y'all decide y'all have to hire again, don't, because I worked for CHA before over here, if I wasn't no good over here, ain't gonna be no good over there. Don't keep recycling the same people. Let them go somewhere else. Because I know the residents are tired of them. I'm glad you didn't bite off more than you can chew, because that's a good thing, showing that you're willing to learn. You don't start up here and wind up down here. You start here and you rise up. So if both companies have a chance to rise up. Not, I can look at all y'all buildings and tell who got to go. If I visit the buildings. Managers, but some of these buildings are really nice. Managers and staff is like superior. The other ones, they suck. But then as you go through the portfolio, you go through this, you go through that. When it comes to issue with the residents, don't always send them a letter saying you got this. Make sure you have somebody go through their letters first. Because a lot of managers have not been doing what they're supposed to do. Now the residents suffering. The residents suffer, they go to the leadership, then they have to come here. So it's a challenge, but it's a worthwhile challenge. At the end of the day, if you do it, if you're good as you say you are, you'd always have a smile on your face. You can't smile every day, something is wrong or you're in the wrong business. You're gonna get hiccups, a lot of them, but it's gonna be okay. But your customer service is what counts.
Thank you,
I-
Commissioner Washington. Are there other commissioner comments?
Yeah, I got a few.
Parker?
I just wanted, Mr. Thomas, when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, that goes for everybody, every race, not black particularly, or you know what I mean? So we want everybody to have, we want you to be an equal opportunity employer, first of all. So the absorbing of the staff, I do commend you, and I, only because the folks that is on the ground working those locations don't deserve to just get a short notice and say they lose their job either, right? And so you guys kind of got a heads up with having a team on the ground. I don't know how you would have been if you had to find a team. That would have really showed me what you was made of, but you inherited, so I'm still watching to make sure that what you did inherit, that you still on them. Don't just take for granted that we got them, they here, we got our team, we don't have to interview, we don't have to pay, we don't have to do outreach, because I think you're still gonna need that, but I am kind of happy for the people that got to keep their jobs, that didn't even expect they'll lose their jobs, right? And so they come to work every day and show up for the housing authority as best they can. So all we know that they just wasn't being managed right on a high level, right? And so if they were giving us poor performance or service, all I know they come from the corporate office, you know? And so we do want you to go in there, dig deep, and bring the best out of what you got. Because I believe because they've been recycled, they got some skills and knowledge too. Me, myself, is a stickler for, we got people that's groundkeepers that's thinking they technicians. Now all of a sudden they can fix everything. That ain't what we want y'all to do. If y'all need to come back to the agency to say that we want you, I do, to hire competent people like electricians, like plumbers, real plumbers, not no janitor that's gonna come in here and fix my toilet. I need somebody that know that got the skills, so please check their certifications. And I wanted to know, where are you guys located here in Chicago?
647 East 75th Street.
So you on the south side?
Yes,
And we can reach out and touch y'all anytime, huh?
absolutely.
Us
Stop
and the
by.
residents. And so would that's gonna be shared, I guess, with the residents, because then you're gonna have a fluctuation of people coming in to complain about stuff that probably predates you, right?
We're used to that.
Okay, good. And so that was kind of it. Again, low income public housing residents, like Francine said, they come with all kind of, and I'm not being discriminatory.
This is good.
They got some people got some issues, right? And so as we walked some of these buildings, we was able to learn some of the issues, and so we just want you to go in there and try to see how you could kind of clean up your lobbies, clean up the loitering and stuff like that. That's gonna be your job. We can't say, oh, we got this too quick. It's on you now, starting tomorrow or today, soon we gavel this in.
November 1st.
November 1st.
November 1st.
So again, I want to welcome you guys and thank you guys for coming up. We did want to see new faces. I know I did. And so welcome to this big portfolio, because just because you're starting little don't mean you can't go big. And that goes for both firms that came before us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Parker. Were there any other, Dr. Harris?
Yes. I would just like to say that I think you should know something about the board too. That we're not just ones just to sit at the table here and listen to your reports, but we're ones to go out into the community, to the buildings, and to check on our residents, because we put people first. That is our vision. That is our vision, is putting people first. And so I just want to say, under the leadership of our chair and with our CEO, we have been going out to the buildings. look and to talk to view what's going on. We're taking notes. But this is all along. And I live in the neighborhood where you are presently located. I'm a Chicagoan. I'm the oldest on this board. And so I know a lot about Chicago because I was born and raised here. And so this means a lot to me because right now we're going out into the communities, working with seniors. And I feel very strongly about our seniors and our youth. I'm an educator too. So I just want the best for our people, whatever, diversity and all that, but it's the fabric inside of the person. You have to have a heart for people.
Absolutely.
And you have to have love in your heart for people. You can do this unless you have love. And we go in and we talk to the people, and we've been doing that for the past few weeks. And some can be very cold, but I want to share that customer service is so important. When you walk in a building, you can tell whether you're received or whether you're not, whether it's a warm environment, whether it's cold. But I like to walk in to see a building that's filled with people who love and people who feel like they're being loved. And especially for my seniors, because they're living in the winter of their lives. And they're going to be respected. I want them to have the very best of what life can give unto them, and we're going to serve them with our best. So even with win-win, when you're coming with what you have to offer, and you're coming with what you have to offer, we have to blend and make ourselves as one because we're here for the people. And I also want to share this. We have a secretary by the name of Lee Chuck Gill. She has been going out with us to the buildings. She has been taking notes for us as we go into our buildings. And so we're taking the time to do that. So far, we've visited 21 buildings.
Wow.
I want you to know we're not playing. This board is about the business of working with the people. And we want the people to know that they can entrust us because we love them and we're concerned about them. And we're expecting the best from you. And listening to you, I'm expecting great things out of both of you. I am. And I'm sure the board could feel the same way. Because we will be checking you out. And you'll be checking us out. And we'll be making our reports too, as you'll be making your reports. Because it's all about the people here at the Chicago Housing Authority. I want to thank the people who have, how can I say this, having sat in this seat for over 22 years. Being the oldest, I want you to continue to do what you have to do your best. We have some new commissioners. I pray that you too will catch on to what we've been doing for years, just trying to help our people, whether they be Black, Hispanic, whether it doesn't matter. It's just the people. So thank you for allowing me this time to speak. But I respect my leadership, the chair. I respect our CEO, the staff, because we do have to respect each other in order to give our best for the people that we serve. So we'll be checking on you. And like I said, I live in the neighborhood where your organization is. And I'm the one, I don't live too far. I grew up not too far from where your office is. And you have my building.
We know.
Yes. So you know I'm going to be, but now all these buildings mean much to me. And I'm going to share this. But when I first got on this board, I had an assignment. My assignment was to adopt a senior building program for 58 buildings. It took me 3 years to go out in this community to get people to help me to refurbish the sitting rooms of 58 buildings. We don't get paid, but we are rewarded for what we do for others. It's been a pleasure to work with those when I see Mary and those who have seen Dominic and others. This is just not an accident. People are going to be watching us. And Chicago, with you working with us, and you working with us, and the board that we have, because we're not here just for us, we're here for these people. I mean that. Hall, our light is going to shine because we love the people and we're going to be respectful of each other. Thank you.
Thank you.
Older
Dr.
people
Harris.
have a lot to say, you know, but I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Harris.
I have a
Do-
quick.
Vice
just
Chair?
A quick question. It was great to meet you all and hear your story and the work that you're doing. And I also appreciated that you mentioned that you were offered more units and decided to start smaller. But my question is still, 2,000 is, my understanding, is your current portfolio, 2,000 units. And this would take you pretty close to 3,000, which is still a big jump. Can you just talk about how you're prepared to take that on?
So we have, I call them pillars or levers. As a small business owner, we've had to figure out our own systems. And so we have this system where we know how to turn it on and we know how to turn it off. Because sometimes we are called to take on receivership work that has to go away. So we have a system where, based off of the number of employees we have, we know what systems we need to have in place. And so a part of us saying no to some of those other properties was because we knew we didn't have the systems to support that. So we're very conscious of making sure that we're scaling appropriately because we want to make a big impact.
That I also say is a testament to our current staff. And so again, just the operations of 5T in general, that our staff members have the ability to make telephone calls, and people who have worked with us before will come back to us because they know us and they know, what we do. Majority of our employees are employees who were at much larger companies, management companies, that, they just felt that they had gotten so large that the mission got a little blurry. And so with us and our size, they feel that the mission is truly being, carried out on a daily basis. So again, our staff has the relationships that exist out there for the right people, for the right assignments that we take. And again, I think at our height, we were probably at about 4,800 units. And again, a ton of that was receivership. So again, we had to jump in, be able to staff up on the ground, accounting, maintenance, and we understand how to be flexible.
Is there a reason on your website you don't show the team? Is there some method to that madness? Because when people look up a company, they actually want to see and feel who the players is, and so for you to just run this blank slate is that was a little confusing for me. And maybe I was being too nosy. I wanted to know who you had, and I couldn't tell.
We're different. I mean, we like to do the work. We don't seek out, and a lot of the business cards, we don't have them. We do the work, and I think over the years, people who really know and are really looking for the right person to do their job, they've always seeked us out because, again, like-minded people are around like-minded people. And so just with the website, it's we don't like to brag. In our mind, it's just what we
I don't
do.
know if to call it bragging. If I say, for instance, I needed to know about who your portfolio manager was and be able to put a name to the face, I couldn't do that. Or so who do I call? You too?
Point well taken. Just last night, Steve and I said, we might need to make that about 5T or the team members a little more prominent because it's there, but we felt that it's buried. So that was put on our transition checklist to make sure we update that.
Because to me, it looked like it's either a lot of turnover, or you didn't want to put that because you might have to go in there and change it or something. I don't know.
Here's one other thing we need to add. We need to update our LinkedIn profiles too, because I've been getting a lot of alerts on that LinkedIn, and I don't know that accurately represents who we are. So as Steve said, we're just used to doing the work, but it has been suggested to us that we make those things a little more prominent. So point well taken.
But you can reach us.
Okay, leave your phone.
You wouldn't have a life then.
Thank you. I think Commissioner Gonzalez has a question.
Yeah, I was just curious about, I've read here that you don't have a board of directors. So maybe if you can speak more to that, I'm thinking about oversight and you know, what's legally required or not required. I don't know if you can share more about that.
We don't have a board of directors, but we have mentors. And, you know, our mentors are kind of personal friends and relationships that we have met along the way. So again, you know, one of our mentors is Jonathan Rose of Jonathan Rose and Companies. Marty Nesbitt is a mentor of ours. We've known for over 15 years. Our kids have grown up together and be friends. And so again, we have these relationships that, you know, when it comes to growing pains or we're thinking about the next step, that we always reach out to. But yes, we have yet to just convene and just have a full board. And again, you know, with this relationship with CHA, that may drive us to do that because again, this is a new territory. We know how to do the work, but again, as you grow, you need to add things. And so again, that is probably something that we'll look to be adding also.
I'd like to add that Marty Nesbitt was also one of the former chairmen of the Chicago Housing Authority.
We know.
So I see you have a good mentor.
Wasn't that good? He wasn't
All
that
right.
good.
Thank,
He wasn't that
thank
good.
you.
It's just, ooh, that's-
Thank you, commissioners, for those questions. Thank you so much for sharing your history with us. We're going to go right into voting because there weren't any public comment received for this particular.
I'm sorry, could I just say something to the team? We know we've been putting you guys under a lot of pressure. Again, once this hit the press, it kind of shined a light on our agency. And so thank you for being diligent to the CEO and to her team and going out and getting this done and bringing us quality. I think what we heard today, we got quality providers, and this is what we were missing. And for you to do that under pressure, I work better under pressure too, but for you to do that under pressure, I just want to commend you, Leonard and Teresa and the CEO. Thanks again.
We commend
And
y'all
welcome.
for taking the application, but under pressure, we don't know yet. We have to wait and see what you do.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you
Wait and
guys so
see.
much. We will
Like,
go
but
right into
welcome.
voting. We will go right into voting. So I will present an omnibus motion for the approval of items number 1 and 2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed votes, abstentions, or recusals? Hearing none, items 1 and 2 are approved. We're going to double back because we were joined by residents who had public comment. And so we apologize about the miscommunication this morning about you guys being downstairs. Our first registered speaker was slated to be Mr. Jerry Galvin. We will definitely hear from you. Now, as you're coming to the podium, I will just repeat some of the instructions for public comment. It is important that we hear what you do have to say. We will make sure that your concerns are promptly addressed before the next meeting. And there is a 2-minute time limit.
I step by regarding about my rent. I wanna you review my rent because I only make it $847 a month
Okay.
plus my Social Security. So this making me about 1,700. With the 1,700, I have to pay gas, food, bills, light is double times light in the later home, and then Commonwealth Addison light. So I make it double. $48 in Commonwealth Addison and $47 later home. Why do I have to pay 2 times light? So I start doing this payment. So I don't, if they want to cut off the light, they can cut it off. So I can buy me my small generation and make my own light. This is one thing.
Okay.
2 things. Another thing, I want to let the commissioner, CHA Housing Commissioner, to stop taking money from the Social Security each year. we wanna avoid this money when we receive the money from Social Security, $20 every year. So later home, they want $10 from the $20. So we just make money to support later home.
20 seconds remaining.
They don't help us. The- Everybody who live in a later home from a CHA housing, we are a low income. So I have no idea
Your
how
time is up.
how the related and the affordable coming in.
Okay.
How are they coming in? Don't you have no people intelligent or to manage later home?
Yeah.
I don't know
Mr.
how.
Somebody should do
Where
it.
is those people they coming from to make money from us?
Mr. Galvin, I
It
believe.
is it's not right for me. I did not feeling, comfortable for those rules. And
Yeah.
another, I want you to avoid the money coming from the Social Security for life, not for only 1 year. That
Life.
I want you to make it for life,
Life.
for
Thank you.
every people
For every tenant.
from for the low income.
Thank you so much for that. We're going to have you speak with Dan. I believe our CEO might wanted to say something. Okay. Otherwise, we're going to have you speak with one of our staff members.
Right.
named
So,
Dan.
Mr. Guzman, we certainly are aware of your issues and understand that someone needs to look at your situation in particular. So, if you could speak with my Chief of Staff, Dan Cruz, or Solange Robinson. Is Solange here? Okay. All right. So, Dan Cruz, if you can raise your hand. Okay. If you can speak
yeah.
with him, so we can look into what's happening. Okay.
So, Mr. Galvin, we're going to have you speak with Dan Cruz. He's going to stand up and put his hand up, and he's going to speak with you.
And Mr.
Thank
Cruz,
you.
please give him a foul audit. A foul audit, then someone explain to him what's happened step by step.
We're next going to have Mr. Robert Davidson. Afterwards, Ms. Juanita Stevenson, and our last registered speaker will be Mr. Tony Stevenson.
Good morning, everybody. This is my third time down here this year.
Good morning,
And,
Mr. Davidson.
I'm talking about 4 or 5 issues here. And I see you got the timer on us, and the timer wasn't on other people, and I don't think that's fair to me or you. So you need to fix that area. What I want to talk to you about is I got a document here.
Talk to the mic.
Going on with the residents.
Into the mic, please, so we may hear you. Could you speak into the mic? We're not able to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Better, yes.
Okay. I don't want to go through all that again, okay? I'm sorry you didn't hear it because I'm on a timer. But I used to be the president of Latham Homes when I was going through transitioning, the change, about 3 or 4 years ago, and there was a bunch of meetings that we was having with the new people that was going to take over, which is related. I want a copy of that document of every meeting. I don't understand why I don't have it. I want to know who signed the Latham residents over to Latham, Chicago. Because who in the heck is Latham, Chicago? I don't know who Latham, Chicago is. It's not a human being, I know that. But we pay money orders and checks to Latham, Chicago. So we need to know somebody. We need to know some human beings so we can complain to the human beings for our issues and concerns. We don't have that. And that is wrong. That's a big hidden agenda. I don't want to hear you, but you're spending my money. Like you said just a minute ago, you're going to respect the residents. We'll be heard. Thank you for saying that.
20 seconds remaining.
Okay, the bell is dinging. I need a copy of that transition, the whole document. The people wants to co-op the residents, not the affordables, not the market raters that's in there, but the low-income residents that's been there for years. They want to buy. I'm sorry, but they want to buy their unit, and this need to be brought to your attention because we're going to need some support from you guys. They want to buy the unit instead of giving the money to making somebody else rich. That's crazy. This document is about the lawsuit. What happened to all of the documents and the monies, the deposits that was transitioned from CHA to the new people who took over? This lawsuit with all these people's name on it. Say they owe money, they gotta pay double for the punishment, accountability, for storing the money away from everybody, records and everything. Listen up, Board of Commissioners. People need to know what is happening to them. Raising rent 2 or 3 times a year.
Mr.
Get a Social
Davidson.
Security raise. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I beg your pardon for this. But people get a raise from Social Security. I'm 76 years old. Every time I get a raise, they take it. What good that do me? I sound like I got an attitude? I should have. And you would too if it was happening to you. I believe that. I get a raise, they take it.
Thank you for your comments. We definitely want to have you speak with somebody today. So who should he? I
Thank you
think
very
Dan is
much.
already outside. Okay.
Mrs. Krista Palmer,
sorry.
she's going to get a documented, a set copy of this.
Okay.
Okay,
But,
thank you.
whoever
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna
If you
talk
could,
to, I can
We're
get
going
in
to
one,
have
too.
Lee escort you
We
so
are
you could
angry.
speak with Dan
The petition
Cruz.
is in the works over there.
Understood.
Mr. Davidson, could you speak with Leonard Langston and Teresa Ollison, who are in the back? Can you raise your hands? You see right behind you? If you could speak with them before you leave, so
Thank you all
we can
much.
start to look
Thank
into
you.
this.
We
Thank
want-
you very
we want
much.
Something done for the people. If you care about the people, which is what you say.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson.
That don't have enough education to understand what's happening to them, because all college people do is take advantage of the poor. You and I both know that.
Thank you, Mr.
This has to
Davidson.
stop.
We also need to hear Miss Juanita Stevenson is coming up. Good morning, Ms. Stevenson.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
It's been, my voice is a little congested this morning. It's been over 7 years since I've been in this building, but I've seen some of you all in 7 years. But I'm here this morning because I filed a police report for a burglary for my son's locker at Lathrop Homes. My son had a locker in Lathrop Homes for 5 years. I went down in September to get some things out of his locker for him. And when I went down, everything was gone. The lock was gone, his belongings were gone. So I called the police and I wanted to report a burglary. So the police came and they told me that I had to talk to management. So I called management, told them what the issues were. The police called me back the next day. They said there's nothing they can do because there's no cameras in that storage room. So I called management and told them what the detective told me. And the detective told me if I could get management to turn back the cameras from the day I filed the police report to the day I thought the things were missing. But management said I could not see the cameras. So I called CHA. I talked with Miss Solange Robinson. I talked with Miss Allison. But all I need to know, like I said to
20 seconds remaining.
Related Midwest, where's my son's belongings? Nobody knows nothing. If you cut the locks, say you cut the locks and threw his stuff away. Everybody said, I don't know, I don't know. That's not fair. We're not that stupid that the lock just and his belongings just automatically disappear. I asked him, I'm sorry, I just need one more second.
Minute. Please do.
I asked her, they took me to another storage room and told me, here's your son's storage cage. I've never seen that room before. I've been there 5 years. So they think that I'm just stupid. So I said, well, where's his belongings? They say, I don't know. So the answer to everything is I don't know. 2 weeks later, the management company went around Lathrop cutting people's locks off their storage, throwing their things in the dumpster. So I want you all, I just said that. Later we can discuss more. But you all need to know we need an investigation of the management staff at Lathrop Homes.
Thank you very much, Ms.
And I'm going to
Stevenson.
leave this information with you guys so you can get a better understanding.
Ms.
Thank you very
Stevenson,
much.
Ms. Stevenson.
The CEO wanted to share something.
I just want to make sure. So Ms. Robinson, Solange Robinson, is in the lobby, and also we have Dan Cruz and Crystal Palmer. If you can talk with them afterwards, because we definitely want to see the information that you have to share with us, so we can
Okay,
look into
but
it.
I've been talking with a couple of them.
Understood. So you've got 2 more people to hear you, so that we can see if we can figure out what's going on. Okay.
Thank you so
All
much.
right,
I
thank
really
you.
truly appreciate this morning.
Thank you. And then we have Mr. Stevenson. Mr. Tony Stevenson?
Good morning, CHA Board of Commissioners.
Good morning.
First, I just want to thank God for allowing me the opportunity for you all to hear my concerns. I'm a resident of Lathrop, formerly known as Julia C. Lathrop Homes. I was born and raised in Lathrop 34 years ago. I'm here today because I received a lease termination for allowing someone that Halo Security said was on a barred list, of that of which I never received any proper letter or documentation stating his name or the date that he got barred. And I lived at 2737 North Hoyne, apartment 608. I was shown and accepted my unit back in September 2019. I was staying at my mama's 1-bedroom unit until CHA, the Housing Choice Voucher, paid the security deposit for me. Related Midwest, they kept putting notices on my door before I even got the unit. It was stating that if I didn't pay my security deposit, that they was going to put the unit back onto the market. My mom and we had called Miss Crystal Palmer for help to try to find a way to get the $1,695 security deposit that Related Midwest kept pressuring me about. And Ms. Palmer went over to the HCV and spoke with Mr. Taylor, who asked me why I didn't have my keys because CHA had paid $5,000 for my security deposit and 2 months of rent. And that was in October, and I didn't get my keys until December 2019, so they held it back for 2 months. And basically what I'm here today is I just feel like I've been unjustly,
20 seconds.
I unjustly received a lease termination from Related Midwest, and I've just been receiving a numerous amount of violations from them and Halo Security, and it was just a nitpick to me and my family. Verbally, I was told from them and many residents that they were trying to get rid of the Stevenson family. So
Time is up.
that's my major concern, is just that I'm trying to see if I can get a reversal on my lease termination, because I've been received many lease violations that was unjust and unfair, and they mainly came from the Halo Security.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. We're going to have the CEO respond.
Yes, Mr. Stevenson, I understand that you're in the voucher program, so if I can ask you to speak with the head of the voucher program here, Ms. Cheryl Burns, and she can talk with you afterwards and look into your situation. Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Can I say something about that? Because you said talk to Cheryl about a lease violation. Cheryl ain't over the leases in the building.
If I can just clarify, so Lathrop Homes is a mixed income community, so there are both public housing and market rate and affordable units there. The market rate units are available to voucher holders, and so and therefore anyone who is a voucher holder who's using their voucher would talk with HCV.
Oh, so I'm sorry, and I don't mean to do this because this ain't what we're supposed to do, but how do he deal with his lease? Because again, I'm confused.
As a voucher holder, any voucher holder would talk with HCV regarding any situation regarding their lease, their landlord, and so on, and even though it happens to be a mixed income community.
But can I just say something? Since he is talking to Cheryl, I remember the first time someone was calling his apartment, but he wasn't aware. A lot of residents is not aware when other people's on the bar list. So the manager did give him reprieve. I don't know if it happened after the end or what, but the first time he did not know. we handled the
Thank you,
case.
thank you. We will definitely look into all of it.
I just wanted to say one more thing. I just want to know, can the Board of Commissioners and the CHA Housing Authority start having a meeting at Lathrop and visit some of us? Because we feel like Related Midwest has a very bad contempt for the CHA residents. And we feel like there's a plan to get us out, but what they don't realize, when you get us out, some more coming in. So we need to have a
Ms.
meeting.
Stevenson,
We
you're
need
gonna
to
have
have
a
a
new
meeting.
management firm.
Thank you for Ms. Stevens.
You're gonna
Okay.
have a new management firm that's sitting here. I know
Praise
about,
the Lord. Thank you.
nobody likes Related.
So
That's just my opinion.
Thank you,
Nobody.
all of our
After nobody.
registered speakers for signing up today and addressing the board. Responses to all of your comments will be made prior to the next board meeting or being addressed today. We're going to move into our closed session. I present a motion to go into closed meeting for approximately 90 minutes. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed votes? We will now go into closed session, and although I said 90 minutes, we will be back. We hope to be back somewhere around 10.
We are at our 14th annual Take Flight College reception. We are celebrating 200 CHA youth from across the city of Chicago heading off to colleges all around the United States.
It's still kind of shocking at the same time because, you know, not a lot of people go to college, and then not a lot of people go to college to play sports. And so I'm so forever grateful for that. Like, my mom sacrificed a lot for me during my high school years. My mom, my dad. So it means a lot to me because I know a lot of people that go to my school, my high school, or that go to school that don't got parent support at all and are struggling. And to have my parents care so much about me and do a lot, do sacrifice and stuff they do for me is very, very, it helps me so much. And it's very, like, I'm very big on it. I appreciate that a lot.
So my emotion is over the moon. This is such a huge accomplishment for my son. And I'm so proud that he went the distance and stood strong in what he was doing.
Well, I'm here to see more opportunities before I go off to college and meet new people and make new connections.
Okay.
That there's a lot of opportunities and there's like different ways to like branch out, and there's a lot of support, so that people should take advantage of it because it's not always going to be here.
I want to say to CHA, thank you, thank you, thank you. You made it not hard on a parent to be able to not to think about rent and to be able to focus on the bigger picture. And I just want to say thank you.
In Chicago's historic Bronzeville community, a project that could ultimately lead to the transformation of our energy infrastructure is quietly taking shape. Now, it could pave the way to a sustainable green energy future while at the same time making the nation's power infrastructure more resilient to everything from extreme weather to a terrorist attack. Now, it's a collaboration between the Illinois Institute of Technology, the Chicago Housing Authority, and ComEd called the Bronzeville Community Microgrid. And it's charting a path to the future by taking an old idea and updating it for the 21st century.
Basically, the first microgrid was built by Edison in 1881. So microgrid by itself is not a new technology. He had a power plant, he pulled wire to the neighborhood, and it was an isolated system, started turning the lights on the streets and providing electricity to the neighbors who were primarily rich people who could afford the electricity at the time. What's different now is that we are using the same idea of the microgrid. However, we are using very advanced technologies, renewable energy technologies, very advanced storage technologies. So everything has developed to be, much more efficient, much less costly, and all of that. And that's what makes it different from the days of Edison.
Bronzeville is a very important community to Chicago. It's got a lot of heart, it's got a lot of passion. As represented by this mural, it's got a lot of forward thinkers and innovative thinkers. It makes it the perfect place, the center of the energy transformation really in the world.
As a Bronzeville resident and a Bronzeville business owner, no matter what community you live in, you want to live in a modern community. And I think the grid represents state-of-art technology as it relates to power and power failures. So in layman's terms, to me it means when there are power failures, the whole city doesn't have to suffer, and you can deal with these problems in sections.
When we look at our communities that have been disinvested, and when we talk about environmental justice, it's really important that clean energy is something that CHA is always pursuing. We've been working on this project for almost 10 years with the community. We're part of the Better Climate Challenge, where we've committed to reducing our carbon emissions by 50% by 2033, and we're well on track, having reduced it just in 1 year by 5%. But also it has provided opportunities for new jobs. So through this program, we had 4 residents who went through training on solar installations and so on, and who are now certified in an industry that is only going to grow.
So in the last few years, the CHA has worked with our partners over at ComEd to install solar panels on each of the 16 residential mid-sized buildings here at Dearborn Homes. We typically use across the campus about 6 million kilowatt hours annually. The solar panels are supplementing that energy by about 10%, which means that we're generating about 600,000 kilowatt hours annually through the solar panels that we in turn do not have to buy from ComEd.
Behind this just beautiful mural is what we call the battery energy storage system, which helps provide that resilient power. A microgrid really is a conglomeration of a lot of different smart devices, all controlled by a master controller. And it provides, on any normal day, the microgrid is actually connected to the main grid. But then in the event of a large disturbance, the microgrid would be able to island or disconnect itself from the main grid and use the resources, the generation, the solar, the energy, to still have a continuous power supply. Every single one of the thousands of residents, the police station, the fire station, the schools, and all the small businesses here in Bronzeville would still remain with power.
If you don't have a microgrid, and then if the, let's say the vicinity, the neighborhood is an outage, then you have to turn everything off. Because while the lineman is fixing the grid, you cannot use or turn on your generator or solar because the electron is going to run into the system. and the lineman is going to get electrocuted.
This allows us to continue to operate when we have storms or inclement weather, where we need to make sure that our businesses are still functioning. You know, the fire, ambulance, you know, all of the things that are necessary to operate within the city of Chicago to service this community to continue. And we appreciate it, you know, having this microgrid right here in Bronzeville.
And ComEd's Dale Players says with the benefits microgrids bring, in the future we could see them in every community.
So today we're here at UIC Student Center, and we're actually hosting our second annual homeownership symposium for CHA residents and future homeowners. One of the things that intrigued me was just this whole idea of building generational wealth, and it's something that I learned later on in life. And I do believe that CHA having a mission in mind of helping our families to do just the same thing. We have so many residents who say, I want to own my own. I want to have my own home. And I too believe that sometimes it's just a matter of giving them the information, connecting them with the right people, connecting them with other people who are like-minded, who have this dream and this journey of homeownership. And also just letting them hear from like the panel discussion that we have today.
The ownership, I've been in ownership since 2013. How I got involved was I got to see a lot of my friends buying homes. I come from the projects, the family of 7. So I just wanted my own, you know. Then I got tired of the landlords, you know. So that's what really motivated me. This is an opportunity to get your voucher, move, save up your money, become self-sufficient, encourage them to come because it's very educational. It's a lot of resources, lots of workshops to learn about some of the tips on the do's and the don'ts when you do become a homeowner.
This event is close to my heart because as we talk about the mission of CHA when it comes to self-sufficiency and economic power and generational wealth, homeownership is the way that families can build that generational wealth. Many in the community do not know that CHA has not only rental, but we also support families who want to pursue homeownership. And I like to say that what we are helping families do is to pursue a place to call home, to become owners in their community and part of their community in a way that helps them build a place to build dreams for their children and for the rest of their family.
Today, we are pampering 150 CHA moms in celebration of Mother's Day. So we are so excited to once again partner with the Daisy Foundation, who are putting together this wonderful day of pampering for CHA moms. They're getting a full makeover that includes hairstyling, makeup, a brand new outfit, an opportunity to take before and after photos.
I'm here today to celebrate Mother's Day and also to get a makeover from the Chicago's finest. This is my first time. I love it. Great energy. Everybody is welcoming, warming, and they're asking you, are you okay? You need anything? Very attentive, and they're supporting us.
So we are so excited. This is our 4th year of partnership with Chicago Housing Authority, and we're so honored to celebrate, to pamper, to love on 150 moms. When you think about the adversities that they've had, different things that they've had to go through, whether from COVID, aftermath of that, through illness, through life adversities, it's truly, truly touching to see them smile from the inside out. And our goal is to bring joy.
We're here for a Mother's Day makeover. It's going great. It's bigger than it was last year. It's great. People came out and they doing hair. See, I got my hair did, got my makeup did. Yes, I'm enjoying it. Yes.
So this is just a way to say thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. You are valued. You are needed. We wouldn't be who we are without you. So we're so grateful.
I recently just lost my grandmother, and she was really the financial backing for where we was living at. And so once she died, everything fell on me. So I actually got caught at the right time because I really needed this.
Restore Home is an initiative to bring back online, vacant buildings that CHA has had, in some cases for years, have been vacant. The full building has been vacant. CHA owns hundreds of buildings throughout the city, but in this case, we have some 2 flats, 3 flats, small apartment buildings that have been vacant for a long time, and we want to make those available for families off of our public housing waiting list, and so we have been committed to doing this in a very short time frame to bring those and make those available to families.
It was a relief because I just was so worried that I wouldn't find a place to stay, and it was too late. I thought I was gonna be homeless. So it was a relief when I got called. Amazing, because like you said, it was up and running in November, By December, I was called. Beginning of April, I was moved in. It definitely working, and y'all doing what you said you was gonna do. So I'm very happy and excited. They brought a new refrigerator, new stove. Everything was brand new in here, which I love. It's a nice half a bathroom downstairs and a whole bathroom upstairs. And my oldest daughter, she have her own bedroom, which she loves because she want her own space.
This is what we should be focused on at all times, which is providing quality living environments in strong communities that help families move forward. And so if this is just an example, but we do it every single day and we will continue to do it.
I felt like it was a weight lifted off my shoulders because I was worried about where we was gonna go. Because my grandmother had, everything was coming from her income. And after she died, I just was worried my kids won't have a place to stay. So this was God's plan.
What happened at Los Americas on January 12th was an unfortunate incident that was triggered by a ComEd outage. There was I don't know if you recall that it came out first. It was a thunderstorm, shocked the lines, and when it hit the ComEd transformer that's on the pole, that transformer just sent a shock through our lines and fried our entire system.
And then I hear something like the 4th of July in the back. So I seen stuff popping and like fireworks. Then the lights flickered on and off, and then it said boop, and everything was out.
We got a call that there was an emergency here at Las Americas and everyone had to be evacuated and housed at a hotel. And it was actually a holiday weekend. People were looking forward to an extra day off, looking forward to celebrating Dr. King's birthday and so forth. And it all stopped.
So we lost generators, which then we came into a deep freeze. A couple days later, there was a deep freeze. When that deep freeze hit, it fried everything again. As I talk about fried, now we're freezing.
Everybody stopped what they were doing, and we all came together and took care of these residents and got them to the hotel safely, got them situated, got them in their rooms.
Our resident services team did a tremendous job keeping our residents engaged. We actually had to relocate every family in the building. We had 185 families that need to be relocated.
They fed us, they gave us snacks, toiletries, we played bingo. It couldn't have been better.
They ended up being there for several days. They got meals every day. We had activities for them. We brought in clothes for them.
And we had staff serving them. So our staff came out and they were there sometimes 24 hours.
So then they said, well, you guys don't have to pay rent for February. So I jumped out my seat. Because I like that.
Just the CHA team coming together. We worked together already, but we really got to learn each other, and everybody just jumped in and did amazing things.
I think this was, again, as I always have to say, this was a great coordination for the agency, along with other departments and other private entities that made this a success story for the agency.
I want to deliver the message that they went above and beyond to help senior citizens, and they did a wonderful job. Everybody involved did a terrific job. They can take pride in that because I know I was proud of them. Just fabulous.
here today to our 2023 Senior Gala, where we'll be taking a fantastic voyage today.
Today we're at the 2023 Senior Holiday Gala at the Hyatt Regency Chicago. I am so pleased with today's event. The energy in the room, just everyone's always dressed so beautiful and having a good time, but today is even more special. The energy is just really high.
Oh, I'm having a fantastic time. The food was delicious. The cake, everything was all good.
This room is full of 1,500 fabulously dressed seniors who are out for the day, and they could go to the night because they're full of energy and verve and ready for the world.
Oh, great time. Yes, I was dancing and screaming and moving, and the food was delicious. And they to come and enjoy themselves and to enjoy life because it is so short. Even though we're at a certain age, we can still have fun.
The holiday season is about giving, and this is a gift from CHA to the seniors to wish them the best in health and wealth and peace in the new year.
So today is our 16th annual CHA Operation Warm event. We are giving away 5,000 brand new winter coats to kids who live in CHA housing throughout the city of Chicago. And we're hosting a service fair with 30 organizations.
And since that time, since we started, we've given over 5 million children a brand new coat.
So we have incredible sponsorship support this year, and many of them are here in our resource fair as well. They include our healthcare partners such as Molina Healthcare, Aetna, and Blue Cross Blue Shield, County Care. We also have organizations providing free or low-cost internet service such as AT&T, Assurance Wireless. We also have 12,000 plus books here through our involvement in the Book Rich Environments initiative.
This is my second year here, but this is the best year here. The more importantly thing that we have received today was the books of some coats for my grandchildren.
This is the fourth time that I've been able to be blessed to be a part of this event. This was one of the first events I ever went to, and it is still one of my favorite events.
I got her books, I got her coats, and resources for the public library and for the park district.
You know, this event epitomizes this administration's commitment to lifting hardworking families.
I first heard about the down payment program through a CHA worker, Ashley, and she called and she thought it would be a good program for me to apply for.
So the CHA's Down Payment Assistance Program is a program that delivers a $20,000 grant for first-time home buyers. They can use this down payment assistance towards closing costs and down payment assistance.
And going over everything and me signing all the documents for the grants and the home and the title and everything, and it was just so surreal. And it really didn't hit me until I got the keys in my hand and came in, and I was like, okay, like this is mine finally. Like middle class, so it's not a lot of resources I feel like that's in that group of people. So we don't qualify for certain benefits for low class, but we do need some assistance. And I think that's where the DPA program, the DPA grant comes in hand for.
This down payment assistance can help to lower their monthly mortgage amounts and make it more affordable.
I think people don't realize that you can become homeowners. In my immediate family, I am the first homeowner in my immediate family. So I'm telling everyone. Our 13th annual CHA Springboard to Success Take Flight College reception was our largest ever. The Chicago Bulls, they're hosting us here in this wonderful space once again. So this year, we had wonderful sponsorship support. Molina Healthcare, AT&T provided us with 180 brand new laptops, and Snapchat is a first-time sponsor as well. We had 180 kids here today. So excited to see so many of our youth headed off to colleges all across the country.
I feel blessed, being here, seeing kids, who who going to college, who just experience college, come here, be together, have a good time, get new stuff for their dorms, and enjoying their experience in college. It's like a blessed day.
It's just so wonderful to be able to support CHA youth taking this next important step in their journey. So today we are in the third floor conference center. We are hosting our annual Take Flight networking and recruitment event for CHA college students and recent graduates.
I'm a freshman at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, California, and I'm also a CHA resident, so I thought today would be a good opportunity to network and just help build my resume, and I need to update my headshot as well.
Make connections with someone, potentially finding a job, or even just getting my foot in the door as far as interning with them to later get a higher position.
And we had a huge group of students waking up, coming downtown to network and to further their careers and their education goals. So it's really, the vibes are always great.
I'm proud to be here today for this groundbreaking of the final rental phase of West Haven Park.
You know, it's only fitting that this will probably be one of the first to be done in completing to have the number of residents that's supposed to come back to be able to come back.
Community. So I commend the Chicago Housing Authority. The commissioner has done a great job during the time that she has served and worked.
We're celebrating the creation of affordable housing in the city of Chicago. It is also indicative of the work that we continue to do. We don't stop just because we checked a box. We have to keep going. And so we're here to celebrate checking that box and then the next steps.
This event has motivated me tremendously. It's hard to see people that look like you, sound like you, come from areas similar to you, be prosperous, so it's just encouraged me to continue to reach higher heights and set the bar even higher. Now I want to just help other people that was in the same shoes as me at one point in time.
When I'm baking, it's just, I like to kind of have that quiet time. I know most people say, well, it's not quiet. It is. There's just machines going and our music maybe, but I could just kind of be in my own zone, I think, and that's what I like the most about baking. It started as a homeschool project with my daughter at the time, my oldest daughter at the time, who was 7. We were doing a project on the Navy bean, how it received its name, its health benefits, and so that's how we all got started. We did bean pie, bean soup, and bean salad as the foods around that project. The bean pie turned out pretty good, salad not so good, but 2 out of 3 is not bad.
I remember coming downstairs, and I do remember tasting it. But you ever had something that just hit you all of a sudden? So I remember tasting it, and all of a sudden all these thoughts started hitting me after that taste. I was like, man, this could lead into something. So I told my wife, I said, I think this can be a real good business.
A lot of people think a bean pie is a savory dish. It's actually a dessert. So it's a sweet dish. It's made with navy beans. Why do we use the navy beans? Because when you mix protein and sugar, it's easier on the digestive system for you to digest. What we did, we sold them in a fundraiser for the school. And from there, people kept coming back. And then I said, well, this is a business that we could teach our youth that we, how to make and manufacture their own products. So next thing you know, we were in Peach Fresh Markets, Whole Foods, Ultra, Fair Play. The youth had an idea of putting it online, and now we ship throughout the United States as well.
So Section 3 has been working with me one-on-one with counseling. It also outsourced some consultations for our company, and they were very instrumental in helping me to build out a balance sheet that actually showed how we would do better in retail.
Most residents call our area CHA Section 3, but we have rebranded and reimagined ourselves, and we're now known as the Workforce Opportunity Resource Center. And we love to help our residents start, grow, transform their businesses through coaching, educating, mentoring, and networking.
I'm gonna say something funny, but that business owners need bosses too. And what do I mean by that? We need sometimes just that person to help keep you accountable. I tell everybody the secret is love. Yeah, because a lot of people can get a recipe and you can make a pie. But that's the secret. The secret is love.
What makes Dr. Harris special? Her heart, her desire to bring out of every person that God would allow her to come in their midst.
Dr. Harris is a strong leader, is a female, and she's very militant and very passionate when it comes to her purpose and the things that she knows that God would have her to do.
Dr. Harris has had a tremendous impact on the community. Her sacrifices, her humility, her servitude. Dr. Harris would have these community breakfasts, and they would have like 3,000 to 5,000 people at these breakfasts.
Not only does she teach the word or preach the word, she gets out there and do the word. Her broad reach when it comes to government, when it comes to education, when it comes to religion, has been to just really be a demonstrator of the Word of God.
This honor is so well deserved because when you see a person live their life and for them to be able to experience a plateau or to receive a trophy or to receive the recognition for their labor, it lets her know that the labor has not been in vain.
Thank you for your labor of love, your heart, your passion, your bold, lion-like spirit for helping us to become what we are today.
ILA is a collaborative community and soon-to-be physical location in Chicago, dedicated to educating, elevating, and celebrating Black artistry. Founded by me, Rachel Gatson. We explore the arts through educational experiences, intentional programming, and empowering events. We recognize and honor all Black artists because we know Black artists deserve recognition for their talent.
So Territory is this really big group of teens who have come together, who work really hard to just bring up new creative solutions, how we can, as young people, fix it for the future or for other people who live in it now.
And our mission is to make the street more welcoming and just more attractive for teenagers.
I feel like it's important to help out my community that I live in and contribute to making the place where I live a better place.
I want to see my city look different because I know that there's a lot of injustices here.
You know what? This is my city. This is where I grew up. I want to make it better. I feel like it's only proper for us to have a voice in what we see, what we do, what we experience at Western.
The Chicago chess community is very diverse, and by expanding access to chess, it gives more people the opportunity to learn lessons like the one I've learned. Hi, I'm Aria, and I'm a junior from Whitney Young. Chess has taught me to learn from losing, and I've been able to apply that to my life. One of the ways I've applied the things that I've learned from chess is by teaching girls around the nation how to apply the skills that I've learned from chess into their own lives. I love the Chicago chess community because it's both competitive and supportive.
I wanted my organization to be a part of representing the African diaspora around the world, looking at what do we know to be true about who we are as a people. Two words have become really key to our work. The first is Afro-contemporary, so it's kind of a descriptor of the movement aesthetic, the style that we use. Artivism, this idea of art and activism as a fusion, speaks to the work that we do in community, the work that we do through our education programs. I wanted a company where Black dancers could have a home and that we could create together.
I love the game. Like, I can't really explain it, but you want. Oh yeah. These kids are all creative and all have their own unique ability to affect change in different ways.
Basketball is not just playing, it's like you learn from it, you get ideas from it.
I like to lead. I have a lot of leadership in me.
The inner city of Chicago is rough around the edges, but you'd be surprised what could spring up when you nurture it and you feed it some life. Chicago Eco House, based on the south side of Chicago. We take over vacant lots and we turn them into solar-powered flower farms that creates jobs for at-risk young people. I'm Keelan Blackwell, president and founder of Chicago Eco House. We do really care about growing in a way that is sensitive to Mother Nature. We teach, our staff the way you really treat the environment is the way you're going to be treated as well.
We've come a long way since CHA's first owner symposium in 2008. Back then, the symposium was designed as a one-day event to educate property owners on CHA's Housing Choice Voucher Program and share the tools and resources they needed to thrive as our partners. Word of that successful first gathering quickly spread, and we realized just how many rental housing providers were searching for an event like the symposium. Symposium has always exceeded our expectations. That first year, we welcomed about 560 attendees. By 2013, the symposium had grown into the premier event for property owners, managers, investors, and real estate professionals across the city, drawing 1,000 attendees representing more than 10,000 rental units. Owner Symposium online in 2020 was a tough decision, but one that also opened new opportunities. Not only didn't Symposium Week 20 see just as many attendees as years past, it created a way for people to keep engaging with us after the event ended through the availability of on-demand session recordings. It also meant that new attendees who couldn't make the live event had access to the information at their convenience. Moving forward, I expect that some part of the symposium will always be online to reach the people who really need it. A strong housing market doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of long hours and hard work by committed housing providers, and CHA is in a unique position to support these efforts. I don't think any organization but CHA could host an event like the symposium year over year. With more than 50,000 families living in homes with support from Housing Choice Vouchers, and many more in need, CHA is deeply committed to fostering these relationships and building on our strong foundations. So, whether you're an industry veteran or you just got started last month, thank you. Thank you for being our partner in this mission and for all the work you do each and every day to support Chicago families.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Chanel Davis, and I'm a CH president. And this opportunity has given me and my family nothing but joy. CHA has provided security and just a big old hug to me. We have been through a lot, and we just love our neighborhood. I'm sorry, but I see that my kids will not have a future if it wasn't for CHA, because they provided my child with resources to put him through college. That I did not see that at all before I met these people. I didn't see my son go to college. And I just want to thank them so much. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
We are at our 14th annual Take Flight College reception. We are celebrating 200 CHA youth from across the city of Chicago heading off to colleges all around the United States.
It's still kind of shocking at the same time because, you know, not a lot of people go to college, and then not a lot of people go to college to play sports. And so I'm forever grateful for that. Like, my mom sacrificed a lot for me during my high school years. My mom, my dad. So it means a lot to me because I know a lot of people that go to my high school, or that go to school that don't got parent support at all and are struggling. And to have my parents care so much about me and do sacrifice and stuff they do for me is very, it helps me so much, and it's I'm very big on it. I appreciate that a lot.
So my emotion is over the moon. This is such a huge accomplishment for my son. And I'm so proud that he went the distance and stood strong in what he was doing.
Well, I'm here to see more opportunities before I go off to college and meet new people and make new connections. Okay. That there's a lot of opportunities and there's like different ways to like branch out, and there's a lot of support, so that people should take advantage of it because it's not always going to be here.
I want to say to CHA, thank you, thank you, thank you. You made it not hard on a parent to be able to not to think about rent and to be able to focus on the bigger picture. And I just want to say thank you.
In Chicago's historic Bronzeville community, a project that could ultimately lead to the transformation of our energy infrastructure is quietly taking shape. Now, it could pave the way to a sustainable green energy future, while at the same time making the nation's power infrastructure more resilient to everything from extreme weather to a terrorist attack. Now, it's a collaboration between the Illinois Institute of Technology, the Chicago Housing Authority, and ComEd called the Bronzeville Community Microgrid. And it's charting a path to the future by taking an old idea and updating it for the 21st century.
Basically, the first microgrid was built by Edison in 1881. So microgrid by itself is not a new technology. He had a power plant, he pulled wire to the neighborhood, and it was an isolated system, started turning the lights on the streets and providing electricity to the neighbors, who were primarily rich people who could afford the electricity at the time. What's different now is that we are using the same idea of the microgrid. However, we are using very advanced technologies, renewable energy technologies, very advanced storage technologies. So everything has developed to be, much more efficient, much less costly, and all of that. And that's what makes it different from the days of Edison.
Bronzeville is a very important community to Chicago. It's got a lot of heart, it's got a lot of passion. As represented by this mural, it's got a lot of forward thinkers and innovative thinkers. It makes it the perfect place, the center of the energy transformation really in the world.
As a Bronzeville resident and a Bronzeville business owner, no matter what community you live in, you want to live in a modern community. And I think the grid represents state-of-art technology as it relates to power and power failures. So in layman's terms, to me it means when there are power failures, the whole city doesn't have to suffer, and you can deal with these problems in sections.
When you look at our communities that have been disinvested, and when we talk about environmental justice, it's really important that clean energy is something that CHA is always pursuing. We've been working on this project for almost 10 years with the community. We're part of the Better Climate Challenge, where we've committed to reducing our carbon emissions by 50% by 2033, and we're well on track, having reduced it just in 1 year by 5%. But also it has provided opportunities for new jobs. So through this program, we had 4 residents who went through training on solar installations and so on, and who are now certified in an industry that is only going to grow.
So in the last few years, the CHA has worked with our partners over at ComEd to install solar panels on each of the 16 residential mid-sized buildings here at Dearborn Homes. We typically use across the campus about 6 million kilowatt hours annually. The solar panels are supplementing that energy by about 10%, which means that we're generating about 600,000 kilowatt hours annually through the solar panels that we in turn do not have to buy from ComEd.
Behind this just beautiful mural is what we call the battery energy storage system, which helps provide that resilient power. A microgrid really is a conglomeration of a lot of different smart devices, all controlled by a master controller. And it provides, on any normal day, the microgrid is actually connected to the main grid. But then in the event of a large disturbance, the microgrid would be able to island or disconnect itself from the main grid and use the resources, the generation, the solar, the energy, to still have a continuous power supply. Every single one of
matters pending, imminent, and probable litigation, and other matters in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Our board secretary will now take the roll.
Commissioner Brewer, Commissioner Gonzalez, Commissioner Gutierrez,
Here.
Commissioner Harris, Commissioner Malone,
Here.
Commissioner Matenki, Commissioner Parker,
Here.
Commissioner Washington,
Here.
Commissioner Herlock.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Since there are no voting items and no more business to come before this board, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
As a reminder, our next committee and board meetings are scheduled for Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. Thank you for participating in today's meeting proceedings. The meeting of October 25th is now adjourned.